Hey guys, it's Anthony Bandiera here, joined by my good friend Zach Miller, also legal instructor for Blue to Gold. Let's answer a question. This question comes from a chief of police in Texas, and he says his officers are watching or reading a case called Anchondo, and Zach will talk about this case in a second here, and it's a canine case, and he says basically he thinks that his officers are kind of misreading this case when it's dealing with passengers, and maybe it's implying that they have more authority that they don't have, right? And he just says, "Hey, look, can we kind of clear up on Chondo? Like, what does that case represent?" He also, Zach, one thing I want you to talk about is the chief also says that this he reads this on Chondo as a border patrol case, which would obviously not really apply to our regular interior police officers, domestic. They don't really have the same power under the border search exception. So I guess briefly, what is Anchondo about in essence? What's this case about?
So it is they are border patrol agents, but they run their dog around the car, their canine drug detection canine alerts. They do a search of the what no the they divert him off to the side, and I
Right,
think
common.
they sniff it a second time. They
Okay.
do a more thorough sniff with the dog, and he alerts again,
Mm-hmm.
and they order Anchondo, and I think did he have had a passenger with him? Then they search the vehicle, and they don't find any narcotics in the vehicle. And then when they ask Anchondo, or they refer to the vehicle, he tells them, "Well, you're not going to find anything in there."
Mm,
And then they end up the court says pat searching him,
right.
but they found drugs on his person. Then they proceeded to search him and found drugs on his person, and he's arrested.
So, I can see, right? I can see how some cops who, may not be as legally trained, as some of us, but that's read that case and they just say, "Oh, okay, well, if the dog alerts in the car and we don't find the drugs in the car, I guess, we can just start searching people." But that's not necessarily the rule, is it?
No, no, absolutely not. No, you need some kind of nexus between the person, and the vehicle. Something because at the end of the day, you need probable cause to believe that people have drugs on them, and just not finding drugs in the car after a canine alert is not probable cause to believe there's drugs on them.
Right. And
One of the problems with Anchondo for me has always been the lack of real legal analysis in the opinion. I mean, it's a real short opinion.
mhm.
And there isn't a whole lot of legal analysis, and I think officers, like you said, they see the outcome. The court says in this case it was a good arrest and search incident to that arrest, and officers take it as like a bright line rule
They do,
that
right.
no
They take it
drugs in
as
car, I can search the people.
they
Yeah.
think it's the authority, like, okay, boom, now we can get into people's pockets and so forth. And
Hmm.
so, yeah, so look, I guess one thing what I teach is, hey guys, don't forget that the people are not containers under the motor vehicle exception.
Right.
And they have their own higher level of expectation of privacy on their person. So if you're going to search them, you need a nexus. You need that probable cause, but usually we're talking about the connection between what's going on with the car and them, and then you also need the recognized exception, which usually is search intent to arrest or some kind of exigency. I've seen those cases. Colorado
Mhm.
has a search without arrest. What was it? It's something like search instant to citation, but it's because you like to say you have a marijuana where you're gonna cite for the marijuana. You believe there's marijuana in the person, but you're not gonna take them to jail for it. They would allow that as a targeted search just to recover that evidence. Not in Colorado because but they had that exception before marijuana was legal. And but the point is, courts I think
Mhm.
bend over backwards to allow you to recover the evidence from the person, even if you're not going to arrest them. They'll just call it exigency. They'll call it, whatever. But you still need that probable cause, like you said. Anything else on that?
Yeah, that's key in the is where the key here, not the warrantless part, because like you said, we can justify the warrantless part in a couple ways, but it's the nexus.
Yeah.
Whose car is it? How long? What is the occupants? What is their relationship to the car? How
Hmm.
long have they been in the car? Why are we interacting with them in the first place? All of these would be
How
relevant.
are they acting? What's their criminal
How are
history?
they
What's their
exactly?
behavior? What are they saying? Are they saying weird things like, "Hey, you're not going to find drugs in that car"? Well, it's not
Right.
weird. It's just sense that it might be pointing in a different direction. Good. Look, we've talked about Anchondo many many times on this channel. It's something that always comes up, which is fine. That's why
Mhm.
we're here. So I'm glad these questions are coming. Guys, first of all, thank you, Zach, for joining me. I think this is really helpful to a lot of cops. Actually, I know it is. These videos get played in a lot of, roll calls and so forth, which is kind of my ideal place for to show these. But guys, please follow us on Instagram, the YouTube and all these other places to kind of make sure that you're getting all this legal knowledge from Zach and myself. If you want to ask your own question, go to bluetogold.com/show. You can also you'll find a little link there. And until next time, my friends, you stay safe.
See you. Thanks.